Hey there guys, it's Attack on Samurai, and welcome to Week 9, Season 3 of the OBA. So our opponent this week is the Liverpool Linoones, coached by Ryan, previous coach from Season 2, so he's back again for this season. So actually, I should probably mention this right now, but we have to battle two more people in the league that we haven't battled yet, and then after that, so in week 10 and in week 11 we battle Kendra Plays Games, and we battle Dua plus Mario. So after we battle those two, it'll be a repeat of battling Brad Mew, John 2, and John Mark. So yeah, we're gonna have to do that after the next two after the next 2 weeks. So yeah. But just wanted to get that out the way. But anyways, so Ryan, he has a pretty different draft this season. It's more offensive. He also did do a bunch of trading as well. Unfortunately, I don't remember all the trades he did, but excuse me. But sorry again. But yeah, so for his OU picks, he has Escadrille, Mew, and Hippowdon. Then for UU, he has Tentacruel, Hydreigon, and Mega Abomasnow, which is pretty surprising. Then RU, he has Uxie, Jolteon, and Aerodactyl. Then for NU and below, he has Ditto, Hariyama, and Skuntank. So his team is pretty well balanced. Even though there are some mons in his team that share the same weakness. Of course, being Escadrille and Hippowdon, and also Aerodactyl. But yeah, so what I realized about this team is that he has dual weather. He has sand and also hailstorm, and also hail. So that's something I may have to worry about, especially sand, because Hippowdon and Escadrille together are a dangerous combo, since Escadrille has access to 2 really good abilities. Actually 3, I think. Is it? I think it's 3. Oh yeah, it has 3 really good abilities. Sand Force, Sand Rush, and Mold Breaker. All 3 are really great abilities, but in the Sand Rush and Sand Force are dangerous to deal with. So I have to be very aware of this Escadrille, and this India Sand. So yeah. Then Mew is kind of a bulky mon. Can be ran multiple ways. Can be ran offensively or defensively. Mostly, well, actually I haven't seen this battle, so I don't know how he runs his Mew, but most Mews that are ran competitively are mainly ran like defensively. Kind of there to like force things out. Try and like get residual damage on stuff like burning things, knocking off items, going for defog. So he has a defog user in that. Tentacruel is also another mon that he has that can get rid of hazards, as well as a Skuntank. Since Tentacruel has access to Rapid Spin, and Skuntank has access to a defog. So that's 3 users he has. Well, actually 4, because Escadrille also has Rapid Spin as well. So he has 4 users that can get rid of hazards. Which is kind of dangerous, but something I don't really have to like worry about, I feel. So yeah, then he has Hydreigon. Hydreigon's a very offensive mon. Mostly ran specially offensive, usually Scarfed or Specs or Life Orb. Has access to U-Turn, Dark Pulse, Draco, Flamethrower, stuff like that, Flash Cannon. I think it gets some setup moves too. I think it also gets Tailwind. Don't quote me on that. It has some decent bulk too, so it can take hits pretty well. But yeah, it is very weak to Fairy. Unfortunately, I don't have a Fairy type move on my team. I won't say that. I won't like go more into it, but I'll talk about the rest of my team. Then he's got Mega Abomasnow, which is the weirdest one out of all the picks he has, to be honest. Because I mean, I don't really know too much about Abomasnow. About Mega Abomasnow, to be honest. I know I know it has really good stats except for its speed, so it can work very well in Trick Room. And he does have 2 Trick Room users, being Mew and Yuxi, so he can take advantage of that. So yeah, it also does get. I know that it gets priority though. It gets priority Ice Shard. Has access to Blizzard, so it can use that very effectively with its Snow Warning ability. And yeah, but it's very weak to fire since it's ice and grass. So any kind of fire type move will take it out. Or it's just gonna do a lot of damage to it. So yeah, that's it for Mega Abomasnow. Then he's got Yuxi. Yuxi kind of functions like Mew, except that well, for one thing, they both have completely different abilities. Mew has Synchronize, while Yuxi has Levitates, as well as Hydreigon, so he can avoid earthquakes and such. Can avoid hazard damage outside of Stealth Rock. So yeah, there's that going for it. But Yuxi's very bulky. It's actually a lot bulkier than Mew when invested, so it can tank kids very well. Has access to a couple of setup moves, I believe. Gets Calm Mind. I know it gets U-Turn. I think it gets Healing Wish. Don't quote me on that. It also has access to screens as well. And yeah, it does also have a huge assortment of other moves as well to use. So there's that. Then he's got Jolteon, probably one of the best mons in a league format because it's strong, hits hard, and does a lot, and has access to Baton Pass as well. But yeah, but just like Mega Manectric though, like it kind of suffers from having a four move syndrome. It doesn't really have like it doesn't really have a lot of coverage to back it up. But it definitely has more than Mega Manectric though, in that regard. Since some coverage moves that it gets are like Shadow Ball and Signal Beam, has access to HP Ice, HP Fire, any kind of HP user, any kind of HP it wants to use. So it has access to that. Then he has Aerodactyl, another very fast mon on his team, as well as Jolteon. Has access to Stealth Rocks too. Has a pretty decent attack set as well, so it can hit pretty hard. Gets Stone Edge, Earthquake, stuff like that. Gets Hone Claws as well, so that's something I gotta worry about. It can also set up a Tailwind, so I may have to worry about that if he's running like a Tailwind team to support his Mega Abomasnow. So yeah, then he's got Ditto. Ditto is a very weird Pokemon since it can just copy any mon that you bring in. So it's actually pretty dangerous to deal with. To handle. It can be ran. It's mostly a ran Choice Scarf though. That's as much as I've seen with its use in competitive leagues like the GBA. So yeah, then he's got Hariyama. That's a mon he actually used last season as well. So Hariyama hits pretty hard. Has some pretty good bulk too in HP, so invested it can take hits pretty decently. Pretty well. Has a bunch of priority moves as well. Gets Fake Out, Bullet Punch, and also gets the Elemental Punches as well. And that's pretty much all I know about it. So yeah, then there's Skunk Tank. Like I said before, is a user that can get rid of hazards. So that's something I have to worry about. It's Poison and Dark. So gets Poison Stab and Dark Stab as well. But it's mainly a physical attacker. It's not really a special attacker. So yeah. So now that I rambled on about his draft for the past 9 minutes, let me talk about my team for this week. So for this week, I'm bringing Dragonite. I'm bringing Scales to Dragonite, Dabbonham the Hitmontop, Suicune, Queen Mary the Nidoqueen, Chip Skylark the Gengar, and Big Bertha the Aggron. So yeah, I actually dropped Duosion for Aggron because, again, like I looked at my opponent's team for this week, and I also looked at my opponent's team for the weeks ahead, and I realized that Duosion can't really do anything, especially since it couldn't really do anything in the past matches. from before. So I was just like, except for that exception from last week, that's the only thing that Duocean really has done for me. So I feel like now it's time for me to kind of drop it, to be honest. So I felt like I needed, a steel type since, I got rid of Klefki. So I think actually bringing Aggron was better because it can hit harder, has access to a Rock Head, has Head Smash, so I can run a Choice Banded Head Smash set if I really want to. So yeah, Aggron has a little bit more options than Duocean had. Duocean definitely had options, but it just didn't really come out. That's basically how it went. So yeah. But anyways, I'm bringing Scales to Dragonite as a Choice Scarf set this week, running Dragon Claw, Fire Punch, Waterfall, and Roost. Dragon Claw stab move does a lot to a majority of his team. Actually, he doesn't have a Fairy type resistance, but his only resistance to a Dragon Claw is going to be the Escadrille, so I kind of have to worry about that. But I have Fire Punch for that anyway, and Waterfall. So pretty much Fire Punch and Waterfall kind of cover a majority of his team, as well as with Dragon Claw. Because again, Waterfall can hit Escadrille and Hippowdon and also Aerodactyl. And also, since I'm running a Choice Scarf, it's going to outspeed those unless Escadrille is Choice Scarfed as well. Then it will outspeed me. So that's something I may have to worry about. So yeah, and then Roost as well. Just that way, since Dragonite is Choice Scarfed anyway into Roost, then I can just get off a free Roost on something that's slower than me and stuff. That can't really touch me. So maybe like set up a Roost on Uxie, or maybe a Roost on the on Ditto if it'll be faster. So yeah. So that's pretty much it for Scales. Just gonna be there to like kind of break down some walls on his team. Like again, the Escadrille and the Hippowdon. So yeah. So now that we got Scales out the way, let's talk about Dab on him, the Hitmontop. So bringing Dab on him, the Hitmontop, because I felt like I needed a fighting type this week. Like I was actually thinking about Blazaking, but Blazaking kind of gets wrecked by Escadrille and Hippowdon, and also Aerodactyl and Mew and Uxie. So I was just like, you know what? And also Jolteon, since it outspeeds it. So you know what? I think Blaziken wasn't the best choice for this week. So I'm gonna bring Hitmontop this week because I also needed an Intimidator, since most of his team is pretty much physical, or majority of his team is physical. So having that Intimidate really helps. I'm also gonna be running it Assault Vested, since he also has a couple of special attackers. So yeah, man, Hitmontop has a very good special defense bulk as well. So his moveset gonna be Rapid Spin, Close Combat, Gyro Ball, and Mach Punch. Rapid Spin to get rid of hazards that a couple of monsters in the team can use. Actually, he has like 4 monsters in the team that can actually set up actually 5. No, 6 actually. He's got 6 monsters on his team that can set up hazards. So trying to get rid of those hazards would really, really help me. So yeah, then there's Close Combat. Close Combat's a very strong stab move that Hitmontop can utilize. Doing a lot to Escadrille, doing a lot to Hydreigon, and also to things like his, and also to the Mega Abomasnow and the Skunk Tank as well. Then there's Gyro Ball, which is really good for fast mons on his team like Aerodactyl and Jolteon. So hitting them with the Gyro Ball is really gonna hurt. So that's basically the reason why. And then Mach Punch because priority, and it can hit the Escadrille, and also hit Hydreigon and such. So it's a pretty good move for getting off chip damage off late in the game or early in the game. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for Hitmontop. Now we're gonna move on to the main attacker for this week. Well, not the main attacker, but pretty much the mon that's just gonna put in the most work this week. So I'm bringing a Choice Spec Suicune this week. Gonna be a shiny one. Don't know if that mattered, but its moveset is gonna be Ice Beam, Scald, Shadow Ball, and Extra Sensory. Gonna be max special attack, max speed with 4 in defense. So basically, this Suicune set kind of covers a majority of his draft. Ice Beam for the Dragon types and for Aerodactyl and such. skull because of stab, and also does a sorry about that, the video had cut off earlier. So basically I was talking about Suicune and how it has a lot of coverage. So it has a lot of coverage for this week because, well, Ice Beam again, as I said before, can hit Hydreigon, and can hit the Aerodactyl. Can also hit a Powdon as well. Skull is just going to do a lot of damage, especially with it being a Spec Suicune. It's just going to hurt a lot of things. It could potentially burn stuff. He doesn't really have much of a switch into a Scald, into a Choice Spec Scald anyway, besides Tentacruel, and I guess Hydreigon. But Hydreigon's not going to really want to take it that well, but it can take it. So yeah, and then there's Shadow Ball, which is a check to his Psychic types, Mew and Uxie. So I actually checked, but Mew, if it's ran like specially defensive, a Shadow Ball will do about 40ish% to it. But Max will do about half. So, but a Max will do about half to it. And to a Uxie, depending on what its investment is going to be in, it'll do about 60% if it's a defensive. If it's a physically defensive Uxie. So yeah. Then there's also Extra Sensory, which is a check to his fighting type, and also to his Tentacruel as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Suicune's just there to put in a lot of damage on stuff and just hurt things really bad. So just hit things really hard with the specs, Scald or Ice Beam or Shadow Ball. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for Suicune. Now we're gonna move on to Queen Mary, our Nidoqueen for this week. So Queen Mary is going to be ran pretty much offensive, with an air balloon, so that way Nidoqueen can avoid earthquake and such from Aerodactyl and other such things. Toxic Spikes, the moveset is going to be Toxic Spikes, Flamethrower, Earth Power, and Sludge Wave. So Toxic Spikes is there to really chip down his bulky mons. Barring again Uxie, barring the Levitators, they can really stack hazard damage. They can really stack Toxic Spikes onto things like his Hippowdon and Mew. But I do have to be aware of his mons that can resist that, and also Hariyama, since Hariyama has Guts. And if it's a Guts Hariyama, then with it being inflicted with poison, then it's just gonna wreck things. So I kind of wanna. So my plan is to try and take out that Hariyama. Is to try and take out Hariyama before I can set up the Toxic Spikes. So yeah. Then there's Flamethrower, which is a check to the Mega Abomasnow if he brings it, and also to Escadrille as well. Earth Power, a strong stab move, gonna do a lot to the Jolteon, and anything that wants to come in on the switch into Nidoqueen. So yeah, then there's Sludge Wave, which is again another stab move, and kind of a check to the Mega Abomasnow, and just just a move that's gonna do a whole lot of damage with it being sheer force boosted, and such. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Nidoqueen's just a bulky special attacker with an air balloon. So yeah, and there to set up the spikes as well. So that's gonna be it for Nidoqueen. Now we're gonna move on to Chip Skylark, the Gengar. So Gengar is gonna be ran a little differently this week. Chip Skylark, it's gonna have the moveset Substitute, Taunt, Willow, and Hex. So this kind of set is actually there to kind of to force things out a little bit, and also kind of there to stall a little, kind of. And I haven't really, I've thought of this set through, but I didn't think it all the way through. But basically, what Chip Skylark's goal is to set up on mons that basically its goal is to set up on mons. So I can set up on something, force it force it out with a taunt, or I can burn it out. And if I burn it, I get a Hex off, and Hex is going to do a lot of damage to that Mon. So, let's say I want to sub up on Hariyama. Then, well, actually, Hariyama's a terrible example because it would never want to switch out. So, never mind. Let's forget about Hariyama. Probably something like, I guess we could say Tentacruel. No, actually, something like maybe Mew. But basically, again, the main point of Gengar is to taunt things that want to set up on me. I want to set up. So I want to taunt things that want to set up hazards, or want to go for a setup move like Sword Stance or whatever. So that's basically the gist of Gengar. Just there to force things out and taunt them, and get burns on Mons as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for Chip Skylark. And now we're gonna move on to Big Bertha, our Aggron for this week. So yeah, so Aggron is going to be ran Choice Bandit, like I mentioned earlier. And saying how, you know, Choice Bandit set's so good with Rock Head and Head Smash. So yeah, Head Smash is going to hurt things a lot. Even some resistant mons. Like, actually, hold up. I don't think I've actually checked this. I actually want to calc how much you can do to some mons. So let's calc it. So let's calc a mon like that's usually ran physically defensive. So let's say Mew, I guess. We'll go with Mew. So let's put in an Aggron set. Wait, I didn't put in Aggron set. Wait, hold up. Is there... What has a Choice Bandit set? I guess we can use this one. The RU one. So... Well, before it was RU, now it's NU. But... Yeah, so let's see how you do... Again. Oh, wait. Oh, this is already Uxie. So, against a defensive Uxie, Head Smash does a lot to it, and it really doesn't have much to hit back with. So as you can see, Head Smash is going to do roughly about 70% to it. I mean, roughly about 71-75% to it. So Head Smash is going to hurt Uxie a lot. So probably don't want to come in on that. So yeah, there are a lot. So actually, let me check Mew now. Now that I checked Uxie. So Mew, we can go with the Soul Breaker set, I guess. The only thing that sucks about Mew is that it is faster than my Aggron. So that's the only thing that really sucks. And also this isn't like the exact set that I'm using, of course. But a Head Smash to this will do a lot. It actually takes it out. Well, has a chance of taking it out. But still, Head Smash is very, very good. So yeah, then there's also Iron Head. Pretty good. I mean, very good stat move as well, and can also hurt Mega Abomasnow. It can get flinches as well. Then there's Earthquake, which is again a check to Jolteon, and also to his poison types. So yeah, then there's Ice Punch, which again, just like Ice Beam, is mainly to check the Aerodactyl and Hydreigon. So yeah, so that's basically it. So again, Big Bertha's there to just like dish out hits. So basically, my main attacking force, my main offense is going to be Suicune and Big Bertha. Because once those two come in, they're going to hurt things very, very hard. So yeah, so that's basically the plan for this week. Just come in, hit him hard, and yeah, and force him out. That's basically the plan for this week. So yeah, so what mons I think he's gonna bring this week? See, that's kind of a hard question, because that's kind of a hard thing to think about, because I have a feeling that he's definitely gonna bring Sand. I mean that he would have to bring Sand, because Sand is just such a very good offensive and defensive tech. So he'd probably have to bring that. So I'm gonna say he's gonna bring Escadrille and Hippowdon. So that's definitely something he has an option of bringing. Now Another mon he could bring. He'll probably be more likely to bring. See, I know Mew has a lot of like, you know, advantages that it can take and stuff. It also gets defog and all that stuff, but I don't know if he'd really be willing to risk that. But okay, no, so he's gonna bring Sand. That's what I think he's gonna bring. He's gonna bring Sand, so Escadrille and Hippowdon. Now I think he's gonna bring Hydreigon because he knows that Gengar is a threat and also Dragonite is a threat too. So he'll probably want to bring something like that. I mean, he'll probably want to bring Hydreigon for that reason, because it hits hard, has U-turn, and has a very good typing as well. So he's more than likely gonna bring that. So I'm gonna say he's gonna bring Hydreigon. So Escadrille, Hippowdon, Hydreigon. I feel like he might bring Ditto. Because again, Ditto loves to just come in on you and your Choice Scarf, and it could just outspeed you. So he can go that way and run it like that. I'm not gonna say he is gonna bring it, but that's just an assumption that I have. I feel like he could bring it. Cause, well, I mean, like if he expects like something like Blazaking or whatever, then he could, you know, bring that, most likely to try and like catch Blazaking and then just Choice Scarf it and just hit things on my team. Just I don't really have much of a great answer to fire types, besides I guess Suicune and Nidoqueen, but that's basically it. I mean, I guess Dragonite too. So maybe he'd be willing to actually bring Ditto in case I bring Blaziken. So that's my guess. I think he may bring it, most likely. So yeah, so Escadrille, Hippowdon, Hydreigon, Ditto. Another mon I think he might bring. I don't think he's gonna be very likely to bring Mega Abomasnow because I've got Pinsir, Braviary, Hippowdon. I mean, not Hippowdon. Hitmontop. Basically, a lot of things on my team just destroy just destroy the Mega Abomasnow. So I don't think he's gonna be very likely to bring it. That's why I really think he's gonna bring Sand instead of Mega Abomasnow. So yeah. So again, I just do this that way I can, you know, keep trying to imagine the team in my head. So Escadrille, Hippowdon, Hydreigon, Ditto. He'll probably bring Hariyama, most likely, because again, it just hits things really hard on my team. I have very few answers to Hariyama. Again, besides Braviary. So he will be more likely. I mean, so he's likely to bring it. You know, priority and such. So, and also knockoff, and it's guts boosted. So he could like predict like a burn or predict like toxic or something. So, and I do have I do have some monsters on my team that can utilize that. So he would be likely to bring it. So yeah. So Escadrille, Hippowdon, Hydreigon, Ditto, Hariyama, and the last mon that he'd be willing to bring is probably, I'm thinking Jolteon. He probably will bring Jolteon since again it's one of the best mons in the league in a league format. So he'd be willing to bring it as probably like, I mean, he'd be willing to bring it. Since again I only have a couple answers to it, being again Nidoqueen and Mega Manectric. And again, Mega Manectric can't even hit Jolteon anyway. So there's that. But he probably wouldn't expect me to bring Mega Manectric anyway, since there are a bunch of things on this team that can definitely deal with it. So there's that as well. So he probably might bring it, but then there's a chance of him not bringing it as well. But again, it's a very good mon and can hit things hard. So I'm going to say Escadrille, Hippowdon, Hydreigon, Ditto, Hariyama, and Jolteon. So I will see you guys then, and take care.